Exercises in the context of musical training with an instrument in the hand is not unlike physical training in the gym. The desire or the motive is to get fit, a fitness which will enable us to extend our ability and our capability, as well as our confidence and commitment to fulfill an intention, a goal, a desire.
To have a regular training routine, exercises are an absolutely focal point. We've spent a lot of time with my colleagues Chris Jolly and Paul Harris on scales, and now we're going to focus a little bit on exercises. Exercises are another part of the training. Exercises could be compared to a sports training where fitness is a part of it. And when we talk about fitness with an instrument, there are so many areas of fitness which are incredibly important. Of course, we often think about fitness as being fingers and how the fingers respond to the instrument, the coordination of the fingers, the tidiness of the fingers, the pressure of the fingers. But then there is tone, there is embouchure, there's support, and then there's the cognitive, in really thinking about what you're doing and the awareness of what you're doing while you're doing that. So it's not clocking off, being really oblivious to a routine that is so routine you don't think about it. It's actually the fitness of the brain and the awareness of the brain to the exercises.
Desire, motive, intention sets the ball in motion. Intention guides you in what exercises to choose. Purpose gives you a focus from which to apply awareness to each tiny incremental step within your chosen exercises. Agility of the brain is as important as agility of the fingers. Awareness of what you are hearing is as important as what you are emotionally feeling. Being in the moment, also known as mindfulness, is a fundamental part of training in exercises. It is from establishing and maintaining this state of mindfulness in exercises that will enhance your health and your well-being.
Following the Jean-Jean Vademecum, I have chosen to do these velocity, which again, in some of you who have followed my videos, you will be aware of. There's several books of them and they're really, really fabulous. The ones I have chosen, although I do have additional ones but these are my regular, is this one, number 18. It's very, very much about coordination of the fingers. And with this also, interestingly, is about the purpose of what my fingers are doing, but also the visual attention and that keeping my visual attention coordinated with my fingers. These exercises I do with the metronome, and it's quite interesting because having had this break or this disruption in my regular routine, I found that I've actually had to wind back because they've started to get quite messy, and also that I'm skimming over, and I don't like to feel that my brain, my cognitive side, is not purposely linked in with my fingers. So even if I do actually play them without any slips, if I don't feel that I'm actually very, very coordinated and aware of what my fingers are doing, or that I'm skating over the notes. That's just, to me, that is not being purposeful about the exercises. So speed is important, but the way these exercises are constructed, it's also about the placement of the fingers. The exercise routines would not be complete without staccato exercises. There are lots of exercises, and these are just prompting your ideas of what would make your warm-up, your exercises purposeful and give you an incentive to engage in your daily routine. So staccato, for me, as for any clarinet or sax player, is absolutely crucial. One of the exercises I use is, again, going back to the jonchon after the velocity, are this exercise, which I feel is not only about tongue coordination with fingers, tone quality, but for me is very much about stamina. I know if I've had interrupted warm-ups, this exercise really shows me if I am really struggling or mouth-wise, embouchure, to get to the end. I know that I have some stamina issues and I need to get training more. So it's a really great barometer almost of actually how fit my mouth is and my tongue is. But tongue speed is often something that I think all us clarinet players and perhaps sax players also have, that we don't seem as to have as fast a tongue as our counterparts, flute players, oboe players, double reed players, bassoon players. But it's also about the quality of the sound. So I'm not going to go into the double tonguing. I choose to take my single tonguing as fast and as clean as possible. I think what's also interesting in this exercise is how the tonal quality of some notes can become slightly unstable if our mouth and our tongue is not clearly defined. So it really takes you through every single note, well, apart from at the very, very top, but how actually one note goes into another and the tonal focus. It's also not only about tonguing each note fast, but it plays around with different articulations. So I find this exercise extremely useful on so many levels. But again, you might find another exercise in a different book that does the same job. When we talk about exercises, it's assumed we're thinking about fingers, we're thinking about speed, we're thinking about articulation, all the things that I have mentioned. The other part of exercises is about slow playing. Often playing slowly can be more scary and need more control and focus and understanding than fast playing. So it's very important to have a slow piece reflected in our warm-up. I have a resource of slow pieces. One is the exercise at the end of the jonchon. One is the slow, the solo movement from Messiaen Quartet for the End of Time, which to me is also about dynamics. It's about control, it's about colour, which of course is part of the jonchon. One of my main resources of alternating between the slow exercises is Paul Harris's Adagio. Paul's Adagio, apart from being the most beautiful piece, really takes us as a player through our paces and very much understanding what we need to do in order to deliver the tonal quality, the dynamic, the control, the sustaining a tone, colours, all of that, and of course support. So I played you a little bit of the final section. You will see some markings in there. To me, this is really a test of where I am in terms of my playing quality, how my mouth is feeling, how I'm psychologically feeling, if I'm distracted, if I'm feeling a little bit doubtful. Our psychological state plays a very, very important part, and that in the exercises should be part of what we take into account, because we can address psychological concerns, or we might have doubts, we might have confidence, which might have nothing to do with our playing, but somehow infiltrates our daily training. So it is important to think about the psychological side. There's a lot of emphasis, I feel, incorrectly about if we don't think about it, that's the best thing. And that's where self-consciousness, particularly when suddenly you're in a pressured situation, and you are, for all of us, we become acutely aware of what we are doing. That acute awareness is how we should be playing. That should be our daily way of feeling, thinking what we are doing. So this piece is really excellent for that. We are instructing what we need to do when we need to do, and we're also having to listen. So evaluation throughout the exercise, having a daily routine of exercises, or daily, or as much as you can do, that is customized to the time that you have to allocate to your training, keeps you connected with your instrument, keeps the instrument part of your life, keeps you fit as a player.
Stability and confidence in your playing will in turn enable certainty and spontaneity to prosper in all your areas of music making and bring you overall fulfillment.
Exercises have been fundamental and absolutely central to my life as a player since my early teens. They evolved very slowly through the Thurston and Frank, actually, that's where I started, and then evolved into different exercises, and now in the last few decades the Georges Vademecum, the Velocity, and other exercises that I have mentioned have formed the rudimentary part of my daily routine. Customizing your exercises that give you the resource of technical prowess as well as psychological well-being is so important, and will build your confidence and your commitment as a player. And they really give me a sense of well-being and confidence, and feel that the clarinet and the sax is so much a part of my life. So it's not just about the fitness, although that is the primary side of why we do exercises, why we do scales, but it is keeping us connected, fit for purpose, and psychologically confident and connected with our instrument, which to me is so important.